So hello everyone, it is Jaden and welcome back to another video. Now, if you saw last week's video, you would know that I had decided that I would stop working in this journal just because of how thick it has gotten and it's just kind of becoming a bit more difficult to work in. But before I kind of put this journal away, I thought I would show it one last time on this channel by doing a little journal tour. So let's get into it. Here is my journal. This is just an artist loft journal from Michaels. As you can see, I have it decorated with this cute little bow sticker, and the pattern on the sticker is actually Kate Kittredge's skirt, which is the American Girl doll, and I got this off of Etsy. I then decorated this little band with just like a cute little charm that says never never give up. I've seen some other people do this and I really liked it, so I thought I would add it onto my journal. Now, if you saw my last video of me working on this journal, you would know that I did not finish this entire journal. As you can see, there are quite a few pages left over. However, this journal, it was just getting so thick, as you can see, and just made it super difficult to work in. I might maybe just treat like these last pages as maybe some sort of diary just to actually have them filled up, but maybe just not doing like the full on journaling like I typically do. But yeah, let's get into the good stuff. All right, so just on the very inside, I had taped in an envelope just if I wanted to include like pictures that I had already printed out, but like I hadn't gotten to making the spread yet. I would put them in here. As you can see, there are some pictures that didn't get used, but they're still chilling in this little envelope. I then just put when I started this journal and then when I finished it. Finished it, you know, but yeah. And then I also had this cute little tag from a BT21 plushie that I got, and since 2024 was year of the dragon, they were all dressed up in little dragon costumes. So here is the very first page. I just kind of made it look like one of those old like retro signs for like 2024. I had drawn this out on my iPad and then printed it off and basically treated it like a coloring page, just because, you know, I can be a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, and I had actually originally had drawn this onto the sketchbook and I hated it, so this was something that I implemented in other drawings that I ended up doing in this journal. And then just taped in my 2024 vision board that I had made, as well as my goals, before getting onto January. Again, did the same kind of coloring book method. For each month, I will have on the left side a calendar and then 2 songs. And then on the right side, I would do like some sort of illustration that I think kind of matches the vibe of the month. So January, I did a cute little snow globe. And then each one I also decided to include a little froggy. Now, the first thing that I wrote about was going to a JMU basketball game. I went with my uncle. It was like a spur of the moment thing that we did together. And then here is my ticket. And then they also had like these little cards of the players. So I had taken one and decided to include it into my journal. And then on January 16th, this was actually supposed to be my first day of classes at JMU. However, as you can see, it was a snow day, which I thought was pretty funny that that happened, as it hadn't really been like snowing a lot, at least in my area at the time. I then wrote about my favorite coffee shops because, as you all know, I absolutely love coffee. These are all some local shops that I really enjoy. I then actually had something else underneath here, which you can kind of see some of the leftover bits, but I just didn't really like the way it come out. So on this craft paper, I wrote down a little quote and then I just glued it down to cover what was underneath of it. I then did a little thing of my Spotify on repeat, and this was from January 20th, because I thought in December I will write again and see how much it has changed in terms of like which songs. I know that there are some of these that are still on my Spotify repeat, like Rebel Yell by Billy Idol and Look What the Cat Dragged In by Poison. January 21st, this was just kind of like a random one I just wrote about, and I have this really cute My Melody sticker in the corner. I then did, this is one of the 2 books that I've actually finished this year. I have this awful problem of like starting books and never finishing them. But I did like a little book review. This is called this particular book was called The Killer Across the Table. Thought it was super interesting. Definitely recommend if you like true crime. But yeah, I just kind of did like a little like review and like what the book was about. I then did like a little bit of a weekly recap of January 15th through the 21st. Then made a big list of books that I'd like to read. Then here's another book review of Killers of the Flower Moon. I haven't seen the movie, but I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was absolutely fantastic and I highly recommend it. We're now on to February, where I did a cute little box of chocolates drawing, and then of course both the songs had to be related to love because it is the month of Valentine's Day. So I just wrote about the first day of February and then about like a bunch of different rom-coms that I'd like to watch. I then wrote down 2 different recipes that my like grandmother had made one day, and I liked both of them, so I thought I would write them down to keep them. This is a little collage I did of the Peach Riot figurine that I got. This was my first ever like Pop Mart figurine that I'd ever gotten, and I thought the packaging and stuff was like super cute, so I turned it into a collage in my journal. Next up was the first order I had of the year on my small business. This person got quite a few things. I could not be more thankful to them. I then wrote about Happy Mail. So one was from Kenzie of Sweet Cheese Studios. I got this cute little guy, and then I also got some like a Valentine from like my cousin and stuff, and I basically just wrote like underneath like the little cards that I had taped down. I then wrote about Valentine's Day. Here is a nice picture of Jungkook. I then had another one of those Pop Mart blind boxes. This is the Gotham City one, and I got the character I wanted. I really wanted Red Hood. So I made a collage with the packaging, and I also got the Justice League childhood ones, and I got Aquaman, so again, another collage. This was just about going to the coffee shop and Michael's. Ignore that it was stuff people had written out and like using like the cups and stuff, and I thought it was funny, and I had taken a picture of it. I then like had like this blind date with the book thing. I still haven't read this book, but this is like what I got, and I just made a collage using all of the stuff. It was then on to March, which is my time of spring break. And then since March, of course, is St. Patrick's Day, I did a little froggy in a bowl of Lucky Charms. Wrote about some more Happy Mail. I got these cute stickers from from Narwhal Carousel Co. They make super cute like clay figurines, but those are a bit out of my budget, so I got their super cute stickers. And then these are just from like 2 little stuffies that I got. I then wrote about like a bunch of music that was coming out, so like Hope on the Street and then Friends. I then wrote about The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, because I was like a huge Walking Dead fan, and I kind of like dropped off around like the 7th season. However, I did know some of the stuff that was still going on in the show, and I like saw the first episode of this show where Rick and Michonne are looking for each other, and I absolutely like adored it. He's down so bad for her, and I absolutely love it. So happy for Michonne. She was like my favorite character in the show. I then just talked about one random day in March. We had gone to like the thrift store and stuff like that. Here's like some comics that I got in this random book. I then did a spring break recap where I basically just worked on like a bunch of random stuff. And then this was just like a drawing of just, you know, everything will be all right. I can tend to get worked up and overwhelmed about a lot of stuff, so I needed a little reminder. Then talked about going to the Harvest Table, which is a local coffee shop, with my grandmother. Then wrote about Easter for this year and had some pictures, and then just some random pics from March. I then moved on to April with this froggy enjoying the rain. So I wrote about the Red Bud Festival, which was a lot of fun. I then wrote about the eclipse, which I didn't think I'd actually get to see, but my grandmother at her work, they had the glasses, and I asked her if I could keep them after we used them. So I added them into my journal. And I quite like this page. I think I got the vibes of the eclipse pretty well across. This is a little letter from my uncle that I kept in here. And then this is just a little recipe. Some more happy mail. I love supporting small businesses. This is from Good Bad Cat. So I got this cute little like BT21 blind bag keychain, and it came with like an acrylic pen. And then here's just some other stuff, just like kind of talking about it, and like some stuff some stickers from Pura Vida. I then wrote about the little adventure my grandmother and I went on. They were doing work on the balconies of our apartment building, and they found a nest of baby birds. The mom never came back, so we had to drive them to the wildlife center in our area, and they took them, and it said that they did pretty well. So that's, of course, very happy to hear. Here's some more random pics from April, like the announcement of Right Place, Wrong Person, Jungkook with Bam, this cute little like picture of this dog. It says it's going to be okay, but it's going to be different. I really liked that. It was then May, and I of course had a little froggy enjoying a picnic. So May is Free Comic Book Day. So I of course went, as I am such a nerd and I love comics. These are some of the comics I got. This was from like, even though Free Comic Book Day was on May 4th, this is from April. They had it in the comic book shop, and I got it because I thought it would make a fun little spread in my journal, and it did. This really cute like superhero ghost is from Milky Tomatoes, and I basically just kind of talked about like what I did that day of Free Comic Book Day. More happy mail. This is like a little collage from like a zine, and then I got these cute enamel pins from Giraffalope and Wool Blossoms collab, and I got the Cheese Puff Dragon and like the Pocky Dragon. Very, very cute. I then just wrote, or these are just like some thank you notes, and I kind of wrote about it just because, again, I love supporting small businesses. I then wrote about a Mother's Day conundrum. This is really funny because my uncle, he like had called me, and he's like, for Mother's Day, can you make for like my grandmother, aka his mom, can you buy her like some flowers and like do like a cute little card and stuff, because he had totally forgotten like Mother's Day was coming up. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. That same day, my grandmother and I were going to the thrift store, and she saw somebody like selling flowers, and she's like, that is such a waste of money. And I thought that was so funny because he had like just called me like talking about like buying her a bouquet of flowers, and to call him, and I was like, do you have another idea? I just thought it was super funny. This is from a little mystery plush box that I got of Mariah Elizabeth's characters. I got Bumble Bear, and I also ended up getting Pickle. I then just kind of yapped using another one of these like mood boards, and then I had gotten a package from Drawn by Nana, and this like cute little postcard came in it, and I basically just talked about everything that I purchased. I then talked about like how I'm trying to get into like planning and like putting my life together. So I just kind of talked about that, and then this is another cute postcard from a small business, and again, usually if I tape something down, it's because I'll write something underneath of it, but this one I just had a little sticker. I then talked about like nostalgia, and one thing that's super nostalgic for me is American Girl dolls. I then talked about Right Place, Wrong Person. I had the track list, and then my top 3 songs, and I really like this, how this came out, like the monochrome aesthetic. I think it looks quite nice. I then did like a Receiptify thing, and this was from last 6 months, and the last year, just to see what kind of songs I listened to a lot. And then these are like some of my playlist. I have I'm With the Band, which is what I called it. It's just all hard rock songs. Before 2000s Vibes, which has like a pile of songs on it that were all made before 2000. Christmas songs, and then all BTS songs, and then my very lovely profile picture. I then talked about something that I had gotten from Bright Bat Studios, or Bright Bat Design. They make the cutest little pins and stickers and stuff, and this is just like me talking about it. It was then time for June, with my froggy enjoying the beach. I talked about Festa because, as I have said before, I am an ARMY, so I'm a fan of BTS, and it was of course Festa. I then talked about the Outsiders like cast recorded album because I was going to be seeing the musical later that month, but I'd already been listening to the album and I just really enjoy it. Here's the track list and then my top 5 songs, because like I said, 3 just wasn't enough, though I think some of these might be changed because I've like really fallen in love with the song like Far Away from Tulsa and Death's at My Door, but oh well. I then did like a little bit of a mood board because, like I said, I had been really wanting to go to New York. I did end up doing that later in the month, but this is just like a little mood board of a bunch of pictures that I got off of like Pinterest and stuff like that. I then did this little spread of a bunch of like silly like little memes and stuff that I had in my phone. This one is actually a drawing that I did, and I had printed it out for something else, but I didn't end up using it, so I added it in here. This one's super big because this is literally me. I absolutely adore a little treat. But yeah, this was also a good little way of clearing up a little bit of space on my camera roll on my phone. Also, everybody really loved this. I did a TikTok video of me working on the spread and people really enjoyed it for some reason. I then talked about how I go on morning walks around town. It's kind of hard to see, but in these pictures, there's like a pile of ducks that like just like gather in this one yard, and I think it's super funny and cute. And then talked about how Jin was back from the military. And here's a picture of him with all of the members, and then like from when he was discharged and Namjoon was like playing the saxophone. I then talked about a day where my friend and we just hung out with one another, and I basically just talked about that. And then I did a bunch of YouTubers that I had been watching recently at the time. So that was Mariah Elizabeth, Brittany, Adam McIntyre, Berleezy, Whiny Brit, and GT Live. At the time, I had just been watching them a lot. I then talked about a lunch that I had with my grandmother and like her friends and like some of my mom's coworkers and stuff like that. It's always a very nice time getting together and like talking and stuff like that. I then did a little spread about how pretty much every night at like 7:30 I go over to my grandparents' place and watch Jeopardy. I absolutely love watching Jeopardy. It's so much fun because I like to see if I can get the answers right or not. I then talked about how like pretty much every night I get really into like doing the like Wordle and stuff like that, as well as connections and the mini crossword and Sudoku on New York Times. It was just something I started randomly doing, and I have a lot of fun doing it. Then talked about some more Happy Mail. This is from Sugar Shrimp Shop, or Chelsea DIY, which is the name of her bigger YouTube channel. Makes the cutest little like clay things, and this was just some stuff that I had gotten. Then talked about getting a bagu, which I used on my trip to New York City. And then this does not do like these colors justice, but I did get some nail polish from Holo Taco because at the time she was having a sale and I have always wanted her nail polish, but I had like kept putting it off. But she was doing this thing where you could get like a free polish, so that's what I did. I'm actually wearing it right now. I don't know how well you can tell, but they're super nice polishes. I really like them. It was kind of hard trying to pick one out. Here's some stuff talking about my trip to New York City, as I have a completely different video where I did a full little like one of those binder journals talking about the trip, and this is just like condensing those couple of days into one little page in this particular journal. Here's some pictures with some stickers and plus a Metro card, and here's a little picture of me. Here's a full spread from the Outsiders musical, so like, you know, outside the theater, stuff from Stage Door, my signed playbill, the like final bow, and then this is from Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. And basically I talked about musicals, and now like I just recently started getting really into musicals, and I totally get why people love them. If I had the chance, I would see them all the time. It was such a fun experience. Now it's time for July, and this froggy is chilling in a little ice cream sundae dish. So this was just a card that I had gotten, and then more Happy Mail, surprise, surprise. I then talked about the 4th of July with some pictures, and then this is actually the packaging of the M&Ms that I used when I made the little cookies. This cutie is my cousin's dog. His name's JJ, and he likes to wear little outfits. He can be a menace to my cousin, but he absolutely loves me, and I take that with pride. I then did a collage using this packaging from this BTS coffee that my cousin had given me. I then talked about Stay Gold bracelets that I had made when I saw the musical. I had made them for the cast, and I had some left over, and I sent them off to some random fans who messaged me wanting one on TikTok and stuff, which was a lot of fun. It was cool that I got to share that love of the musical with other fans. Then talked about my grandmother's birthday dinner, We went to Olive Garden. And then this one is just talking about blind boxes. These are some cards from blind boxes that I had gotten. They were all Pop Mart blind boxes. These are some collages using using the packaging of blind boxes. So we have this cute Jurassic World one, this like Universal Monsters one, and then there is a sticking together. Ooh, here is a third one with a Peach Riot like punk fairy. Now, as you can see, this is kind of like the point where I was like, oh, this journal is getting super difficult to work with, especially because I added all of this stuff in, which I knew it was going to happen because they're so much like thicker than like other like little pictures. But yeah, kind of crazy. I then just talked again about Happy Mail and just talking about like some other stuff that was going on. Here's some more Happy Mail. I got some cute Bat Fam merch. Here's this like cute Red Hood doodle that the artist added on their little thank you note. And then this is from Xandra Illustration and Cat Mitt Studios. They do like the cutest like cat themed like enamel pin blind bags. And this is the Patisserie Series 2, and I got the pumpkin and the confetti cake, confetti cake cat. This is from Lydia Jean Art. Makes the absolute cutest and spookiest art. Highly recommend. This was like some freebie stuff that I got in my order. And then this is some random pics from July, as well as some other things, just some random stickers. We have this very cute little dog that I became friends with when I went to my uncle's birthday party. Now, usually like this would be the very end of like the month before I would get into the next one. So of course the next month would be August. However, as you can see, this like it was just super thick and getting awkward to work with. So I decided to just add in a bunch of other random stuff from the month of July and decided to buy a brand new journal, more like Happy Mail stuff. And then this is like a cute little postcard, and I wrote underneath of it about dreams because it says any dream will do. Again, more like thank you notes and business cards and stuff like that. And then here is the receipt and stuff from the brand new journal that I got, as well as a little love letter to this journal, as this is the first journal that I have ever really done and gotten really into working on it. And I absolutely loved it. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I cannot wait to start my next one. And I think it's pretty cool that for the next one will be start in August, which is my birthday month. So that's also kind of like a new beginning-esque type of thing. It'll also be great because hopefully I'll be able to finish out the year with my new journal without like a bunch of space left over like this one. Because next year I think I want to do a like Hobonichi like Techo, which pretty much has like a page for every single day, which I thought would be a lot of fun to do, and then have like a random like junk journal to include like some of the more like random stuff, like doing collages like these in it. But yeah, that is the end of this journal. As you can see, there are quite a few pages left, but I just, you know, as you can see, it's like getting like really difficult to work in this. I'll probably like just write, like maybe treat like the end of this journal as like some kind of diary, but not like do like the specific spreads like this, and we'll just carry that on to the next journal that I got, which is actually sitting right here. I did get another Artist Loft journal because I really like them, even though obviously there can be issues in terms of like adding a bunch of stuff to it. Like this one started to tear down here at the bottom, but I just really like them. This one is like a pale green, and then I did another bow sticker on it. The design on this bow sticker is like Felicity's dress, which is the American Girl doll, of course. This journal is a little bit different from this one as it has this little like pen loop. And then this journal had like pages where you could do like a table of contents, but I didn't use it. But this journal does not have that. But yeah, I'm very excited to get to work on this journal. Look at the size difference between them. That is like absolutely like insane. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming along with me as I did a little tour of this journal. You know, like I said, I'll probably just write in the very back of it, but not like treat it like, but not treat the end like every other journal. or like every other page, and I totally lost that. Oops. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming along with me as I basically just yapped about this journal and kind of briefly went over some of the other little pages that I have in it. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video and just kind of hearing me talk about it. I hope y'all have an absolutely amazing day, and yeah, bye-bye.